We're going to have to come up with answers that set politics aside.
Oh,
they don't hear us.
They don't hear us.
They don't hear us.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
They don't hear us.
Yeah, I got it. They don't listen. They don't hear us.
They don't hear us.
I'm telling them, but they ain't listening.
I'm from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and they don't hear us.
They don't hear us.
We're going to bring you some stuff that's going to make you feel better. They don't hear us.
They don't hear us!
Hey, and shout out to the folks who are covering this coalition, because they don't hear us.
We are here to free the vote, to re-enfranchise the 461,000 disenfranchised voters we have in Tennessee, so that we can get a voice from the people. Until they can be a voice or use their voices, we're going to be a voice for the voices. Here with three hearts, just trying to love on our people and make life fair and just for all of us.
Thank you so much.
Various other ideas about who, what the Creator is, and what is my purpose for being here right now. We aim not to necessarily build power. Our aim is to extract the power that we already have. So part of this movement is for us to redefine the definitions of what it means to display, demonstrate power. So I'm happy, I'm excited to be a part of something.
Talk about one of the strategies for challenging the voting rights restoration process here in Tennessee. This is a lawsuit that we've been working on with a number of folks in this room, including Free Hearts. A number of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit are here in this room, folks from the Tennessee NAACP. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it and how you can get involved. So Keita talked before about Tennessee's rights restoration process, how it looked before this summer, how it looks now. I think it's helpful to have some national perspective on how bad Tennessee's process is compared to the rest of the country. So one of the reasons why Keita was saying that Tennessee has the second most people who have lost the right to vote in the country is because of how bad the voting rights restoration process is compared to other states. About half of the states do not take away people's voting rights once they've left prison. 2 states don't take away voting rights at all. There's a handful of states that do only take away voting rights until people are done with probation and parole. And then there's a few states that add on the requirement that people have to pay off court costs or restitution before they can get their voting rights restored, even after they've finished their sentence, right? Even after they've done everything that the penal system says they need to do. And then you've got a couple of states that have additional requirements. If somebody has more than 1 felony conviction, they make it harder. Arizona and Wyoming. And then you've got some states where only the governor can restore the right to vote. And then you have Tennessee. And you'll see, you can even see here that the color changed recently on my graphic, because before the changes this summer, Tennessee was in this yellow category, where if you finish your sentence, including probation and parole, pay off your legal financial obligations, you still have to do this additional thing, which then was getting the certificate of restoration, right? How many people in this room have tried to restore your voting rights? Okay, yeah. And how many people were successful? 1. I know there's 2 back there. Not very many, right? No.
Okay. My name is Akbar Khalifa. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm here on behalf of the Voters Registration and the Voters Restoration Act. I feel as though it is a must that we have our rights. These are God-given rights that was given to us by God, not by Europeans, not by the government or anything of the nature. when the establishment and the Constitution was founded, it clearly states in the 14th Amendment, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So, if I done paid my debt to society, then why is you still holding a blemish against me? Why is you still discriminating against me? Why is you victimizing me with procedure practices? You know, you creating all kind of obstacles. You practicing oppression in the performance of your duty to stop us from having our natural God-given right that is bestowed. We done paid our debt to society.
And so that's what I want to say. So you talking not on behalf of someone else, you talking from experience.
Exactly.
So tell me about your incarceration. So
I did 35 years in prison. I got locked up October 27, 1982. I got out in 2016 is when I got out. I got out, it was in August of 2016. Yeah. I done been through all kind of ups and downs, all kind of hell in prison and out of prison. I come straight out of prison thinking I was going to have some peace and tranquility and peace and quiet. And I've been on the battlefield fighting as hard out here as I was in there with pen and paper. I thought I could be able to put this down. But it's basically pretty much like the people that's supposed to be professionals, they more criminals than the criminals. Because this is what I have to wrestle with. This is what I have to go through. Everything, every step of the way, anytime, anything that get done, have to be done, you got to fight for it. They ain't gonna give it to you even if it's your God-given right. Even if you in the right, you understand, they don't care. They just so used to practicing oppression in the performance of their duty. Yeah, that's it.
And so I know you were saying that that you coming from personal as well.
Yes.
And so what about you? You did time?
Yeah, I did. I was incarcerated at the age of 17. They took away, as we was discussing last night, they violated my rights from the whole beginning. You know, my parents wasn't around. I didn't have a lawyer, so at that age, at that young age, I didn't know what to do. So I signed for a 3-year sentence, and they made me do 18 months of it. And I haven't been able to get my rights back to vote since then. So right now I'm just in the process of just trying to get my rights back so I can vote and I can go back so other people and other kids that went through what I went through won't have to go through what I went through.
And you said that was when you were 17?
17, and I'm 44 years old now and still don't have my right to vote.
And he was a minor. And that was forbidden fruit.
Right. Right.
You could not question this man unless you had his mama, dad, or grandmama, or granddad, or somebody that was an adult, that was a custodian. That man was a minor. They know that was forbidden fruit. They can't say they didn't know.
And me being the age that I was, you know, I had never been in any trouble, no trouble. So I didn't pretty much know nothing. So when they came to me and everything, I was just up under the impression, you know, that that they was looking out for my interests. But knowing when I got in jail, you know, some guys got to telling me, you know, that they wasn't looking out for my best interests. So now I got to look out for my best interests and a lot of other young brothers' best interests.
And so, man, and even though I'm behind the camera, I have the same issue. You know, I was incarcerated in 1992.
Yeah.
And I did on a 4-year sentence. I ended up doing like a little bit over 18 months, and then and that was in '92. But I got out, ain't been in no more trouble. But because at the time Clinton passed that law that violent offenders will have to do 85% of their time.
And then the 3 strikes you out. You understand what I'm saying? But now watch this. I respect Bill for one reason. It's because he came on national TV when Barack was president, and he admitted that he let somebody influence him to sign that damn bill, and that he regretted and he hated, and now he's going back now trying to help change it. Yeah, I respect him for that because he was man enough to admit his mistake and come on with it. Yeah,
and I don't like to be, you know, make it about politics, but really it's about politics.
Exactly.
And so, like, you know, in our community, they tell us that we should be shunning Trump. And the only why I bring him up is because I had a friend, two friends. One of them was facing life sentence and for drugs. And the only way he got out is because of Trump pardoned. Yeah, Trump pardoned, where he pardoned Robert Sheriff, and he let my friend Ralph O'Neal out after serving 15 years.
Yeah. But the average individual don't really look at that really correct or proper, and I'm gonna show you why.
Okay.
The Democratic Party and the Republican Party, people ain't looking at it as a Republican Democrat. They looking at it from the way that these over here, these over here. But let me show you something. Trump ain't even got so smart to realize that he being used.
In his own way.
He ain't, no, take my word, look. Right now, that woman, I can't think of her name. Haley, that's running. I would rather for her to be the president than Biden or Trump. Now watch this. Trump being used by the Republican Party, which is a party over him. Then he also being used by another adversary party, which more likely is the Illuminati, because they got an agenda to accomplish. And the only way they can accomplish that agenda is let that play out. They want that, because 9 times out of 10, when both things get better, they gonna get worse. Guess what they plan on doing? They gonna declare martial law for it's over with.
I believe it.
See, and Trump, look, they gonna declare. I'm looking at scripture and what Trump saying and what he doing. Now watch this. If they don't convict that man, they finna show their ass and show their true color with how the United States was founded. Criminals, the United States was founded by a bunch of criminals. It was established on criminality. They gonna show their ass. They finna show their true color. That's why they got to convict Trump. If they don't, all the glory gonna be out there for everybody to see.
If he become president, if he become president, it doesn't matter.
But wait a minute, bro. Listen. You see what I was telling you about this here? Mm-hmm. About the 14th Amendment, the equal protection of the law. Mm-hmm. And also about due process. Mm-hmm. Trump done already violated. Don't you know if you running for public office, you can't have a major or minor offense on your record. He done been convicted
about
twice already.
2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
And like when you say martial law, it's crazy because, like I said, that impacts me too, because I was mentally thinking, growing up, after I got out from my incarceration, I really wanted to be away from everybody.
Yeah.
It's like I was around people that looked like me that didn't understand me. Then I was around people who didn't look like me that didn't understand me. So I ended up buying me some land out there in the country, and I'm the only person that looked like me out there. But I started hearing about martial law and how they wasn't gonna follow these laws and stuff like that. Then I saw some of my neighbors on television, January the 6th. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we don't care about what this government says, this is what we're gonna do. And so they showed you just a tidbit of what's to come.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so now that's the reason why I feel like that even though I'm behind the camera, I'm here too to get justice.
Exactly.
And I feel like we deserve it.
Yeah, you do.
And we pay taxes.
Yeah, every week.
Every week.
Every day. Every day.
If you buy
a bag of chips.
Yeah.
And I don't understand this. We pay taxes out of our check, and then we got to go to the store and pay taxes again. Then we go to the gas pump and pay taxes again. I mean, how many times you gonna tax us?
Now, what you just said, that's why I constantly speak on the 14th Amendment. Listen, in the Constitution, the reason why I want everybody to get a copy of it and start reading and studying. In the Constitution, it tells you taxation without representation is against the law. We ain't got no business paying taxes on nothing. We don't have representation. See, but don't know about now. You see what I was getting at when I was saying, when Gal was saying yesterday about, hey, we wasn't part of the Constitution. Goddamn, look, the Constitution was put into place because to put us in the position that we in now. Slavery, bondage, all this. But she gonna say what she stated.
Yeah, she was saying that because the Constitution, that's what she was saying, it was meant for us to stay bonded.
She said we wasn't a part of it.
No, that's what she was, I think she was missing what she was saying. That's what we were saying. Why it was written for us to stay bonded, for us to stay
right. But that's what she said. We wasn't a part of it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. That what upsetted me because she was giving misinformation.
But the way
the Constitution was formed and founded in order to put us in the position and bondage, slavery, and everything, servitude, all that, different words, all that deal with slavery. Yeah. And then the part where it say we 2/3 of a human being,
properly.
That's why I was trying to tell. Then when I went to try to show it to you, but I don't need to read that. Look, okay, so if you ain't got to, I ain't trying to force nothing on you. But I want you to understand what you just said. You don't realize that you're working with the enemy because you misinforming and misleading everybody else. With them thinking the way they thinking, they're going to be like, oh, well, he don't know what he's talking about, but she know what she's talking about. I agree with what she said, so. Okay, you misleading people. You letting them think with that bullshit. And they gonna go right off, and them same people that's misinformed or be some of the same people that'll come kill you for the enemy. See, yeah, I'm just showing you how dangerous a thought is. See, especially when it's misrepresented. See, when it's misrepresented, misexpressed it, you don't realize the damage that you done did just by that alone. Cause the government gonna be like, You see how they want to kill Farrakhan, don't you? You see what they did for Malcolm, don't you? See what they did for King, don't you? First thing, look, we don't want, look, we can't let her or we can't let him wake you up, cause we gonna have another Farrakhan, we gonna have 10,000 Farrakhan that, see, they trying to kill the thought. They trying to kill the messenger of that thought, the one that's showing you how to think. So they gonna kill him to stop him from what? Reproducing. They don't want nobody else. They gonna kill me or kill you to stop you from being woke up. Cause they gonna say he might be another Akbar. If he another Akbar, he catch on to what Akbar said, then we got another Emmanuel had to deal with. We got another. Look,
and Emmanuel spread it to Lil Tony, and Lil Tony then took the Lil Jimmy, and then people start, because really and truly, I feel like us, especially black men, we looking for someone to step up. And I interviewed this guy, and may he rest in peace now. And he was from the nation, out of Dallas, Texas, Ralph O'Neal. And he told me, he said, man, he said, you know, I appreciate Al Sharp and all that, because I told him I do stuff with Al Sharp. I appreciate that, man. But I'm really looking for the guy who's going to throw the rock.
Yeah.
If that made sense. If you caught what he said.
Exactly.
The one who ain't going to just...
And see, that's one reason why Minister had to stay so well guarded and protected. Because see, when Minister trunk his rock, Minister don't trunk his rock and duck and hide his head. Minister trunk his rock, goddamn it, and stand up 10 toes down, 10 toes up. And let them know, I ain't buying down. What I said I meant, and I'm standing on it. Gonna die on it. Yeah. Minister ain't chunking no rock trying to hide his head. That man now done filed a lawsuit against the Defamation League. The Jews. Yeah.
I guess we're getting ready to start. Well, hey, I appreciate you, brothers. Once again, your name is?
Akbar Khalifa.
And your name?
Emmanuel Logan.
Thank y'all so much.
Yes, most definitely. We thank you, bro.
All right.
What's up, family? Y'all know what it is, man. We're at Freedom
ROC Square 357 production. The producer of They Don't Hear Us TV show. And we out here, man, trying to support, because not only are we supporting, but we are victims. And as long as we're gonna be victims and even after we get past it, we're gonna find a way to make things better for the next generation.
That's not what the statutes say is supposed to happen, right? The statutes say if you meet these criteria, even though they are steep criteria, right? You finish your probation and parole, you pay off your court costs, you pay off your restitution, you don't owe child support. If you meet all of that, the statutes say you have a right to getting your voting rights back. But folks in this room know in practice that's not how it works, right? Even if you've met those criteria, there's this additional barrier. You have to get this certificate of restoration to prove it. But the legislature writes that out like it should be easy. You should just be able to ask for it. It says who to ask, Department of Corrections, Governor, and then you're supposed to be able to get it. Does anyone have personal experience and knows that that's not how it works? Yeah. So how the process should work. Think about if you go to a local office, a federal office, a state office, a local office, and you ask for something like a license, right, or benefit. Usually there's an application, right? You fill out the application says, if you meet certain criteria, you'll be able to get this. If you don't meet the criteria, you won't. You fill it out yourself, you can submit it in, you can mail it in, sometimes you can do it online. You get a response within a certain amount of time, right? They either say yes or no. And if they deny you, they give you a reason why, right? They say you don't meet this criteria. And then you have an opportunity to appeal that. That's how applications typically work. And that's all in line with federal law that says that's kind of how they have to work in order to be fair, right? If the government's giving something out, it's supposed to give it in a way that's fair and uniform, accessible, right? So one example of how this could work is in Alabama, they have a really similar system to Tennessee's law. If somebody finishes their sentence, including probation and parole, pays off their fines, fees, and restitution there, they can fill out this form that says, hey, I want my voting rights back. They mail it to the Bureau of Pardons and Paroles, which is like the Tennessee Department of Correction. Somebody there in their office receives it, they assess it, they'll look up the person's record to see if they meet the criteria. If they do, they have to issue it within 44 days. If they don't, they'll respond within 44 days and say, we can't give you this certificate of eligibility, and here's why, here's what you can do to restore your voting rights. That's what Tennessee's process could look like. And that's what it should look like. But that's not how it looks like, right? So here in Tennessee, as Keita told us earlier, there's 471,000 people who have lost the right to vote. About 365,000 of those people have finished all of probation and parole. Totally done with their sentence, off paper, many people for decades. But only 3,400 people have been able to get those certificates of restoration. So that's less than 1% of people who have finished their sentence, people who are out in their communities working, paying taxes, right? And why is that? Is it because people don't want to vote? No, it's because it's been made intentionally hard to get that piece of paper. So it's a wild goose chase. We don't have an application in Tennessee. You can't just fill something out and mail it in and get a response. You get a blank piece of paper that you're not allowed to fill out, right, P. Moses? Right. And then you take it to different agencies and try to get somebody to fill it out for you. And if they say no, there's no record produced that you've even tried. There's no evidence that you've tried to get it done, and there's no reason, they don't have to give you a reason why they're not going to fill it out. And then what's worse is that the officials who were supposed to fill it out have no training whatsoever. Right? Mr. Tournier, you went to an officer and asked for this, and they didn't know what you were talking about.
No, they didn't fill it out, they never seen it.
Right. And then P. Moses knows that they have no training. And if they make...
Thank you, Brother Akbar. just want to say this. Look, if it was easy, we would have been done did it, bro. I'm listening to my man. I hear what you're saying.
We got to come together
Campaign,
now on
look,
one page.
check this out. Alright, you in prison tonight, I'm in prison tonight. We still got the same issue. Free Hearts, we've been out here campaigning since 2015. We done went and got constitutional lawyers all across the state. We still fight these folks, and the Constitution is saying what the Constitution is saying, but the application of the rights of the Constitution as it is interpreted by these courts, which are, skewed towards a certain philosophy, and then as they interpret it, they make these, they say, well, this is how the law is applied. We still in here.
They say this is how the law is applied. Just because they say that don't mean that. Listen. Okay, secularism. Everybody look at that as an education. Philosophicalism, you look at that as an education. It is not an education. That is an indoctrination to better make you serve them. We got to get you away from that. You got to get yourself away from that. Once you get yourself away from it, then you will be able to see everything that I've been speaking on. Then you will understand. It is not hard. You just got to get the right people together on the same page, and once you free their mind, the way they can think outside the box, then it is time for us to put forth the effort then to go forth and hold them accountable for their action, their attitude, and their practice with constitutional violations or TCA or the oath that they took up on office. It is not hard. Once you get that right there done, then it is time to hold them responsible, because the first thing they're going to ask for is that they be charged for perjury for violating their oath of office. This is not hard. See, when you act, you got to act in the right way through what? The federal jurisdiction comes with. You can't go to state court and then expect them folks to do this and tell them you want to file this in their court. They're going to sit on that for 4 or 5 years. Why do you think Frederick Douglass them did what they did? They established the law of under 2254, 2255 federal guideline code in order for you to go in case of state of emergency, which is now.
Hey, Oscar, I just want you to know, I keep.
Okay.
Okay.
We coming your way. Alright, check this out, bro. We got so much to talk about because Dawn, we're gonna have to give everybody a copy of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Alright, that's number 1. Number 2, Don, we gotta get a copy of that TCA statute 778.
Them 2 books, 7 and 7A.
7 and 7A, because you said in 7 years that we supposed to have a clean slate after we've been convicted of a felony.
After you've been locked up over 7 years, you are considered legally dead.